Chapter 561. Clatter. The Luo family's iron army rushed out of the gate of the Luo family's residence and lined up on both sides of the gate. The military might of the entire army was impressive, not losing to the elite troops of the Tiger Mang guards. Elder Luo walked out of the gate with a majestic gait. His tiger-like eyes scanned the red-armored troops behind Prince Da. Humph. Betrothal gifts. I think Tianyu's imperial family is up to no good. You want to attack us, right? Grandfather Luo didn't play around with them and directly told them the purpose of the imperial family's visit. Prince Da and the others didn't change their expressions. Don't say that, Elder Luo. Our fifth prince is in love with Miss Luo. The seventh princess was naughty and mischievous in the past and made a mistake. Please don't hold it against her, Elder Luo. His Majesty has already punished her severely. Even the Empress was scolded. Everyone in the Tianyu Empire knows this. I don't need to scold you, Elder Luo. This time the betrothal gifts were sent with such a large number of people. This is also to show how much we value the Luo family. Prince Da smiled. Among the three princes he was the most amiable. Who would have thought that just a moment ago he had even suggested that they should just annihilate the Luo clan without waiting for a plan? Humph. That's Tianyu's own business. Elder Luo wasn't moved by his words at all. Tianyu's imperial family wants my granddaughter's life. I'll never agree to this marriage. As for the engagement, I've already cancelled it the last time I went to Tianyu Empire. Tianyu's imperial family is shameless enough to drag it out. Now, in front of so many people, I'll make it clear. Our Luo clan doesn't care about the marriage between Tianyu's imperial family. You think we're inferior, but I think you're ungrateful and immoral. There's no point in talking. Take these betrothal gifts and go back to where they came from. As for the betrothal token, I don't want it either. Elder Luo's eyes were cold. Of course, Tianyu's imperial family can use force too. We're not as strong as Tianyu's imperial family. Old Master Luo laughed sarcastically. This time he didn't give any face to the imperial family at all. He belittled them as if they were worthless in front of the world. These bastards deserved it. The dignified imperial family actually came up with such a sinister and vicious plan. If it wasn't for the news, Elder Luo wouldn't have known that Tianyu's royal family was so vicious. He actually wanted to destroy Qing Tong and the Luo family. Luckily, Qing Tong found out about this. Otherwise, if they succeeded, the Luo family and Qing Tong would be condemned by everyone. Not only would his reputation be ruined, he would also have to face the disdain of others and be consigned to eternal damnation. The royal family of Tianyu deserved to die. If it weren't for Luo Qingtong's order, Grandfather Luo wouldn't have been able to hold himself back. Old Master Luo, you're wrong. When our two families signed the engagement, everything was fine. How can your Luo family break off the engagement because of a small matter? Isn't this too much of a joke? Prince Da said sternly. Don't worry, Old Master Luo. When Miss Luo marries into our imperial family, we won't let her suffer the slightest bit. Indeed, they wouldn't let her suffer the slightest bit. They would only let her become a puppet in the palm of Tianyu's imperial family, a tool to create resources and endless benefits for the imperial family. Prince Da sneered. When the time came, they could kill her if they wanted her to live or die. The Luo family and Luo Qingtong couldn't resist at all. Chapter 562. The latter and the others understood. In an instant, one of the aristocratic families of the Eastern Fence country who had received the order stepped forward. Tianyu's royal family is so sincere. But it's a pity that the Luo clan doesn't deserve it. He pretended to be angry as he looked in the direction of Old Master Luo. Luo Tong, you and I have a good relationship. But today I can't help it and I don't want to hide it for you anymore. Speaking of this, he suddenly raised his voice and said, Everyone may not know this, but the reason why the Luo family repeatedly requested to annul the engagement with the Tianyu royal family is not because Luo Qingtong was harmed by the seventh princess as they said. It's because Luo Qingtong has been having an affair with another man all these years. That man is in the Luo clan. The two of them get along day and night and Luo Qingtong is pregnant. That's why the Luo clan wants to break off the engagement. Since Luo Qingtong isn't here, they can say whatever they want. As soon as he said that, the crowd burst into an uproar. Well, no way. Luo Qingtong is having an affair with another man, and that's why the Luo clan wants to break off the engagement with Tianyu's royal family? Oh my god. Is this true? No wonder the Luo clan would rather die than accept the engagement. I'm also confused. It's an imperial engagement. The fifth prince said in public that he won't marry anyone other than Luo Qingtong. Even if Yuan Shui did something wrong, it doesn't mean the entire royal family is wrong. Yes. This news is too shocking. However, there really was such a possibility. If Luo Qingtong is having an affair with another man and is pregnant, the Luo clan wouldn't dare to continue the engagement with Tianyu's royal family. Oh my god. So that's the truth. To think that I had thought that the Luo clan would never submit to force, nor would they be corrupted by wealth. Yes. It's unbelievable. I didn't expect the Luo clan to be so shameless. Maybe the seventh princess is also a victim. Who knows if she found out about their affair, so she angrily attacked Luo Qingtong. Otherwise, why would a princess of the empire have to make life difficult for Luo Qingtong, the legitimate daughter of a marquis from an inferior country? You even schemed to kill her. Now that you put it that way, I'm starting to believe you. In other words, Tianyu's royal family is the victim. The group of people discussed animatedly as they looked at the people of the Luo clan with disdain and disdain. I didn't expect Luo Qingtong to be this kind of person. The Luo family is still protecting her. Exactly. Luo Laozi looked at the head of the family, who swore that Luo Qingtong really had an affair with someone else and that the Luo family was covering up for her. He couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. He did have a good relationship with the other party in the past. It was just that when the Luo family met with a disaster and the other party didn't do anything at all, the relationship between him and Old Master Luo faded. Who would have thought that he would be the first to jump out and trample on the Luo clan? Good. Really good. After the head of the family spoke, the other heads of the families of Dongli country who had already received the signal from the royal family of Tianyu also spoke up one after another. They made it sound as if it was the truth, vivid and vivid. They even talked about how long Luo Qingtong was pregnant and how many months she had been pregnant. They did all this to make it sound as if it was a done deal. Chapter 563. Oh my god. What a turn of events. The evil doctor had an affair with another man and was pregnant? It had been 3 months. They looked at each other in shock. 3 months ago, Master and the evil doctor hadn't known each other for long. Could it be, Master? The two of them said in unison. The group of people was in an indescribable mess. They didn't expect their master to be so awesome. They were still worried about when he and the evil doctor would get married. He actually had a child with the evil doctor without anyone noticing. If the people of Dongli country hadn't exposed it, they wouldn't have known. Their master was so good at hiding it. But it was a shame that their master couldn't deal with the evil doctor even though they had a child. No wonder he didn't want to talk about it. While Bei Qing, Feng Yu and the others were imagining all kinds of things, Prince Da and the others from the Qingyun realm had turned pale after hearing the description of the leaders of the aristocratic families of the Eastern Li nation. They pretended to be angry and questioned, "Old Master Luo, are the words of the aristocratic families true? Your Luo family has indeed abandoned the marriage agreement with our royal family long ago. Luo Qingtong has an affair with someone else and even has a child." Prince Da's expression was the most unsightly. He sneered, "No wonder the Luo family turned a blind eye to our sincerity. So there was such an inside story. How disgusting. The Luo family can't be slandered for something we didn't do." Old Luo already knew all this. Although he was bitterly disappointed by the betrayal of his old friend, he pulled himself together quickly. These bastards from the Tianyu family. I'll let them know what it means to go for wool and come home shorn. He sneered and looked at the people from the Tianyu family. You came fully armed today. You said you wanted to send the betrothal gifts, but you secretly wanted to slander the Luo family so you could attack us, right? Because the Luo family didn't want to continue the engagement with the Tianyu family, you lost face and now you want to attack us. Old Luo said righteously, "Who is the shameless and disgusting one here?" Humph. Luo Tong, don't bluff your way out here. As far as I know, that person is now living in the Luo family. Whether it's slander or not, we'll know once we rush into Miss Luo's boudoir. Family head Chen, who jumped out first, shouted sternly. He knew that the royal family of Tianyu had already arranged everything, so he was fearless. That's right. As soon as he said this, Prince De spoke in a sinister tone. Now that this matter has been exposed, it is reasonable for us to get to the bottom of this. Old man Luo, if they slander you, it's our imperial family's fault. I will naturally take care of this matter and punish these people who slandered the Luo family and instigated the relationship between our two families. But if there is such a thing, with that he glared at grandfather Luo, then don't blame us for being merciless. The dignity of the royal family cannot be challenged. Men, charge in. With that, he waved his hand and was about to order the Mang Tiger Guards to break into the residence. Today he would hang the evidence of the Luo family and Luo Qingtong breaking the engagement in front of everyone. He would make them unable to defend themselves and be despised by everyone. Chapter 564. Wait. Grandpa Luo roared when he saw what Luo Binghe was doing. We, the Luo family, look up to the heavens and earth. We have a clear conscience. There is nothing to hide. I can let you search the place to clear our name. But if you can't find it, I'll deal with those who slandered our Luo family. Tianyu's imperial family must break off the engagement with our Luo family immediately. Our Luo family can't stand an in-law who suspects my granddaughter of having an affair. We can't bear the love of the Tianyu imperial family. Elder Luo looked at Prince Da and the others with disdain. You can't wait to see the fifth prince be cuckolded. How much do you hate him? Our Luo family won't play along with you. We won't allow you to slander us. Okay. Prince Da agreed without hesitation. Luo Tong, this old fart, is really naive. Did he think he had a clear conscience because he didn't do anything? He was indeed a boorish man. He didn't know how vicious the schemes in this world could be. If Luo Qingtong didn't have an adulterer, couldn't they just make one up? They wanted to break off the engagement with the imperial family? Unfortunately, after today the Luo family would cease to exist in this world. All of you here have heard what he said. If you can't find it, our Luo family will have nothing to do with the imperial family of Tianyu. The engagement will be cancelled. Elder Luo raised his voice. A bunch of idiots. Let them search the place. Dongli Prince didn't arrange anyone inside. Then the imperial family of Tianyu would confirm the slander in front of the whole world. This marriage contract was officially annulled. He didn't want to be stuck with this piece of sticky candy. It was so annoying. Elder Luo snorted and stepped aside. Prince De led a group of people from the imperial family of Tianyu and the aristocratic families of Dongli country into the house. The crowd of onlookers rushed in as well. It would be a waste if they didn't watch this gossip. Whoosh. They rushed into the Luo family and went straight to the main house. At this moment, the people from Evil Valley who were in charge of guarding the Luo family in the dark were all frightened to the place where they were hiding. 7 by 7 49 positions above each formation eye. Everyone was rooted to the spot by a terrifyingly powerful aura. From head to toe they only had 2 eyeballs that could move. At this moment, they were looking at the figure that appeared in their line of sight with shock and horror. The man was dressed in silver and had black hair. His aura was extremely powerful, and with a wave of his sleeve he could cause clouds and rain to fall. At this moment he was standing under the window of Luo Qingtong's room with his hands clasped behind his back. He was like a divine king who had descended from the 9th heaven. His gaze was serene as he looked through the thin veil on the window at the aggressive crowd outside. The dark golden mask reflected a faint light, completely covering the man's handsome face that was like a celestial being's. Only a pair of blood-red eyes could be seen, which seemed to contain countless saber lights. With just a glance, it made people feel that the 9 heavens and 10 earths were extremely tyrannical. Affair. The man's voice was low and melodious, with a faint feeling of coldness and majesty, but one could also feel the faint joy in it. Yi Qianren's lips curled up slightly. He liked this accusation that people outside had pinned on him. Chapter 565. Bang. The members of Tianyu's royal family charged into the main courtyard in an aggressive manner. The people of Evil Valley who were rooted to the spot could only watch as they rushed into Luo Qingtong's room. Oh my god. There was a peerless demon inside. Mingzun. It was Mingzun from the Black Field. The people of Evil Valley didn't know why this supreme being from the Blackfield would appear in the Luo family. Was he here for master? The people of Evil Valley who came from the Blackfield slave market guessed. But how did Ming Zun know master's identity? And the people of Evil Valley thought bitterly. Ming Zun and master didn't seem to have a good relationship. During this period of time, they had also heard that the dark region was searching everywhere for traces of their master. This supreme being from the Blackfield wouldn't be here to cause trouble for master, would he? It was as if everything had clashed together. Master, come back quickly. We can't take it anymore. Bang! The imperial family of Tianyu pushed open the door to Luo Qingtong's room in front of the shocked eyes of the people of Evil Valley. Humph! There's nothing you want inside. Old Master Luo followed closely behind them and snorted. He was about to mock the imperial family of Tianyu. However, when he glanced around, he saw a figure sitting in the middle of the room. In an instant his voice trailed off. Then he suddenly raised his head and shouted in disbelief, "Who are you?" King Dongli didn't arrange for anyone to come in. The Luo family was protected by Qingtong's array and the people of Evil Valley. It was impossible for anyone to arrange for someone to come in. How on earth did this person appear? Old Master Luo was dumbfounded. He didn't know what went wrong. Could it be that this person was arranged by his granddaughter? To expose the imperial family of Tianyu's conspiracy? However, just as he was thinking about it, Yi Qianxian's cold voice sounded. Luo Qingtong's man. As soon as these words were spoken, Prince De and the others, who thought that their scheme had succeeded, immediately shouted. Luo Tong, your Luo family really did break the engagement with the royal family. He actually condoned Luo Qingtong to have an affair with another man, disregarding the dignity of the imperial family. You people of the Luo clan deserve to die. Men, flatten the Luo clan immediately. Other than Luo Tong, kill everyone else. As soon as the Prince of De finished speaking, there was a whoosh. In his left hand, a signal light suddenly shot up into the sky and exploded in the sky. Bang bang bang. Outside Luo family, when the several tens of thousands of Mang tiger guards saw the signal in the sky, they immediately tore apart the decorative red armor they wore, revealing the austere black armor underneath. A murderous aura was emitted without restraint. All Mang tiger guards attack. As the Prince of De shouted, in an instant, tens of thousands of Mang tiger guards rushed toward the Luo clan like a black tide. At the same time, in the main courtyard of the Luo clan, Prince De made his move against Grandfather Luo. The 5 fingers of his hands were like claws, and they instantly grabbed at Elder Luo in front of him. The experts of Tianyu's imperial family beside him also sneered and attacked the people around Grandfather Luo. The lords of the Dongli nation's imperial family who had slandered the Luo clan also attacked. In an instant these people revealed their true colors. They looked at the Luo clan as if they were lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Chapter 566. Bang! A series of loud noises came from outside. In an instant countless cries of pain could be heard. Outside the Luo family, Luo Qingtong was like a blood-soaked azura. Her entire body was covered in a glaring and bloodthirsty red. Large patches of blood splattered on her robe, but were absorbed by the red, causing the patterns on her robe to bloom into an even more beautiful and enchanting flower. Rumble! Luo Qingtong raised the wind and thunder sword in her hand. With every attack she reaped the lives of a large number of Mang tiger guards. Behind her, little Overlord Yuan and the others worked together and followed her like a meat grinder. Yuanhu's defense, Sima Ju's poison, Su Xiaoxiao's medicine, Ling Yuer's whip and Ling Tianhan's sword. This group of students from Tianyu Academy was strong enough to kill experts of the same level. When they worked together, their power was even more terrifying. The group of Mang Tiger Guard elites was like a tidal wave. They were like Moses parting the sea, carving out a bloody path for them. Eldest Miss. The Luo family's iron soldiers guarding the Luo family's gate saw Luo Qingtong's arrival and instantly shouted in surprise. Their gazes towards the girl were full of admiration and worship. Eldest Miss was back. Their Luo family would not be in any danger. Eldest Miss, the Tianyu royal family is too much. They slandered our Luo family and want to kill us all. The Luo family's iron soldiers said. Don't worry, there will no longer be a Tianyu royal family in this world. Luo Qingtong's voice was cold. She looked at the Luo family's iron soldiers. Change all your guns to these. As Luo Qingtong spoke, she threw out a ring. Inside were all the spirit qi guns she had recently experimented with. They could absorb the spirit qi in the air to attack. As long as the user had enough strength, they could always use the spirit qi guns to attack. Yes. The Luo family's iron soldiers did not ask anything and directly changed to the spirit qi guns Luo Qingtong gave them. These guns were not the pocket-sized guns Luo Qingtong made for them before, but the Desert Eagle-type light machine guns. Beat him up. When everyone in the Luo family's iron army finished changing, Luo Qingtong asked Little Overlord Yuan and the others to step aside. In the next second, bam bam bam. Ah! Miserable screams sounded from all around. Tens of thousands of Mang Tiger Guard elites were instantly shot down by the Luo family's iron army like paper. Large swathes of them fell down. Under the Luo family's iron army, the spirit bullets shot out by the guns that were enhanced with spirit energy transformation inscriptions easily tore apart the profound energy shields that enveloped the Mang Tiger Guards. A large number of them were killed on the spot. In just a few breaths of time, the several tens of thousands of verdant Tiger Guard elites that were enough to flatten the Luo family all fell to the ground. There was an indescribable silence. Even the soldiers of the Luo clan were stunned by the power of their attacks. Instant kill. It was actually an instant kill. Moreover, it was a large number of instant kills. Oh my god. Since when was it so easy to kill the Imperial family's elite Tiger Guards? What kind of terrifying killing weapon did Eldest Miss give them? It was actually many times more powerful than the previous ones. It could even use spirit qi. And they did not need to spend too much effort. Everyone was stunned. Little Overlord Yuan and the others were even more shocked. Although they knew that Luo Qingtong definitely had a way to deal with these several tens of thousands of Mang Tiger Guard elites, they did not expect her method to be so shocking. What kind of weapon was this? It could actually ignore the user's level and launch such a powerful attack. Chapter 567. Just as Luo Qingtong was rushing back, rays of array light shot up from the Luo family and instantly enveloped Prince Da and the others who had attacked. That vast and majestic aura instantly filled the entire Luo residence as it charged towards Prince Da and the others. Formation. When they saw the streaks of light in the sky, Prince Da and the others narrowed their eyes. How could there be such a terrifying formation in the Luo residence? Why didn't they notice it when they came in? Before they could react, those terrifying attacks fell on them like a torrential downpour in the next second. Rumble. Everyone who had attacked the Luo clan with murderous intent had been baptized by the attacks of these arrays. In the blink of an eye, a series of miserable howls rang out. In an instant, the imperial family of Tianyu suffered heavy injuries. The heads of the aristocratic families of Dongli Nation were sent flying while vomiting blood. They were no match for the imperial family of Tianyu in terms of strength. Under such an overwhelming attack, it was already extremely fortunate to be able to survive. And that was because the imperial family of Tianyu had blocked most of the attacks for them. Oh no, there's such a powerful formation in the Luo residence. Quick! Get out of here and join forces with the rest of the army to destroy the formation. The martial emperor elder who had been standing by the side with his hands behind his back and did not participate in the attack said. Seeing the formation's attack pattern, he carried the injured Prince Da and his men and left. However, when they arrived outside the Luo residence, they were shocked by the scene outside. Corpses were everywhere. Corpses were everywhere. The entire area outside the Luo residence was covered in corpses. They were all the elites of the Tiger Guards. They had brought tens of thousands of soldiers with them. The elite army of Tianyu's imperial family, which was enough to flatten the Luo residence and capture Old Master Luo, had been annihilated. What's going on? Prince Da spat out blood as he looked at the scene in shock. Tens of thousands of soldiers. They had thought that if Luo Qingtong had left any trump cards in the Luo residence, they could use their strength and numbers to wipe them out. Old Master Luo would be under his control. And now this army of tens of thousands had been completely annihilated. Prince Da's face was filled with disbelief. The faces of the masters of the aristocratic families of the Eastern Border Kingdom who were lucky enough to survive were ashen. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. How was this possible? The Tianyu royal family's army was so strong. How could they be destroyed so easily? Even a clan on the same level as Tianyu's imperial family wouldn't be able to do it so cleanly. How long had it been since they entered the Luo family? With such speed, only a martial emperor expert who had directly entered the realm of unity of heaven and man would be able to destroy it with a single move. What the hell is going on? As for that martial emperor-level old man, his face was also filled with astonishment. At this moment, a fiery red figure entered their sight. Evil Dr. Ghost Eye? Seeing Luo Qingtong appear in front of the Luo family's iron army, the Prince of Da and the others opened their eyes wide and couldn't help but exclaim. He actually rushed back. Evil Dr. Ghost Eye. Chapter 568. Evil Dr. Gui Tong. Luo Qingtong is actually Evil Dr. Gui Tong. No wonder Tianyu's royal family wants to deal with her at all costs. No wonder they are so desperate to deal with the Luo family. Turns out that he wants to control Luo Qingtong. They finally know why Tianyu's royal family wants to deal with the Luo family. No wonder they are willing to make the fifth prince a cuckold so that they can make a move on Luo Qingtong. It's because Luo Qingtong is evil Dr. Gui Tong. They know her identity, so they want to control her, and the Luo family is the best way to break through. Thinking of this, the aristocratic families of Dongli country are scared out of their wits. They are helping Tianyu's royal family to deal with evil Dr. Gui Tong. With Gui Tong's identity and ability, she can wipe them and their families out in minutes. What kind of bear hearts and leopard guts did they eat? If there is no medicine for regret in this world, they would have eaten a dozen. Especially the Qin family head, who was the first to stand up against the Luo family. He fainted on the spot in regret. He and old Master Luo were good friends. If he hadn't been blinded by greed, the Qin family would have been able to prosper. The group is filled with regret and shock. At this moment, the martial emperor powerhouse suddenly reacted to the situation. Luo Qingtong, you came at the right time. He greedily looked at the guns in the hands of the Luo family soldiers. He has a feeling that these guns are the reason why the Mang Tiger Guards were killed. For the Luo clan's iron army, whose strength was clearly inferior to the Mang Tiger Guards, to be able to kill so many Mang Tiger Guards in a few breaths of time, what kind of valiant existence was this weapon? And the array that enveloped the Luo family was so powerful that it almost killed Prince Da and the rest. That was a group of martial emperor experts. That array is definitely Luo Qingtong's work. Weapon refiner, spiritual array master. In addition to evil Dr. Gui Tong's identity as an alchemist and her powerful medical skills. If they can get their hands on her, it will be very beneficial for Tianyu's royal family and these old guys who are stuck at the bottleneck of martial emperor cultivation. Luo Qingtong, we originally wanted to control that old bastard Luo Tong first, and then force you to come out of Tianyu Branch Academy. I didn't expect that you would actually rush back at this time. Even the heavens are helping us. His figure floated up. The aura of a martial emperor instantly spread out in all directions. The realm of oneness of heaven and man locked onto the sky. In an instant, a powerful and terrifying aura was emitted from his body. This old man was actually a superior martial emperor. Furthermore, he was about to break through to the peak. Tianyu's royal family is really something. Little Pig crawled out of Luo Qingtong's sleeve with a serious expression. At this moment, the martial emperor's voice rang out arrogantly. Luo Qingtong, seeing that Immerse is determined to marry you, you'd better surrender now and come back with me. We can even give you the status of a concubine in Tianyu's royal family. Otherwise, when I personally break your limbs and capture you, you won't even have the chance to be a concubine. That martial Grand Emperor realm expert had an arrogant expression. He looked at Luo Qingtong as if she was a fish in his palm and a turtle in a jar. Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows and was about to speak. Chapter 569. This venerables woman is your concubine? Hearing this angry voice, Luo Qingtong was stunned. She turned around and saw a silver-clothed, black-haired man with a dark golden mask walking out of the Luo clan's gate. That's right. He walked out of the Luo clan's gate. Luo Qingtong blinked, not knowing what was going on. Why was this man here? And in the Luo clan's residence? Luo Qingtong was so shocked that she didn't notice Xianxia saying, "This venerables woman." She also didn't know that Yi Qianxian had just been caught red-handed by the people from Tianyu clan as an adulterer. Just as she spoke, the face of the martial emperor on the other side suddenly darkened. He looked at Yi Qianren and shouted sternly, "Who are you?" When he saw Yi Qianxian in Luo Qingtong's room, the martial emperor didn't look carefully. He just glanced at him casually and knew there was such a man. Now he saw Yi Qianxian walking out of the Luo clan's gate. He was wearing a silver robe, and with a wave of his sleeves, he seemed to be carrying countless silver lights as he stepped on the path of stars. His black hair was like a waterfall, and the dark golden mask on his face was shining with cold light under the sun. The patterns on the mask were simple and gorgeous, low-key and luxurious. It was not an ordinary item. Hearing him call himself, this venerable, the martial emperor's face turned cold. How could he not know that this man was not sent by King Dongli? Yi Qianxian ignored him and looked at the surprised woman, who was looking at him with widened eyes. He snorted and said, "Why aren't you talking? Aren't you very talkative and arrogant in front of this venerable? Why are you not talking after being bullied this time?" This woman, when facing him, was all kinds of cunning and unscrupulous and full of nonsense. Why was she not talking when he came this time? Luo Qingtong looked at him and felt a little guilty. She had really screwed this man over this time. When Luo Qingtong thought about how she had imprisoned a wisp of his soul and almost caused little Ming Zun to dissipate, she felt guilty as she looked at Yi Qianxian. The moment she saw the man appear, she subconsciously wanted to slip away. But thinking of the promise she made to little Ming Venerable, and the words, "I won't hurt you," Luo Qingtong couldn't run anymore. Forget it, I'll just be taught a lesson by this man. Anyway, she had a way to treat his meridians so he probably wouldn't be too ruthless. But just as she was thinking this, the man suddenly said this. Luo Qingtong blinked her eyes and carefully analyzed the meaning behind Yi Qianxian's words. Then she realized that he meant. He wanted to back her up? He didn't come here to settle accounts with her this time? Luo Qingtong looked at the man with a gloomy face and a domineering aura. Light flashed in her eyes. Then she raised her hand and tried to point at the martial emperor expert. "My lord, he bullied me. He even said that he would destroy the Luo family and take me back to the Tianyu royal family to be Yuan Mo's concubine." Luo Qingtong's complaint was righteous. Anyway, this man asked her to say it. It would be a waste not to hug his thigh. This martial emperor expert was indeed difficult for her to deal with, not to mention the people of the Luo family. It was hard to guarantee that there would be no casualties. Thinking of this, Luo Qingtong didn't need moral integrity anymore. Chapter 570. Lord, even you didn't do this to me. The imperial family of Tianyu has gone too far. Luo Qingtong said indignantly. Her face was full of grievances. If Luo Qingtong were to act, she would definitely be an award-winning actress. Otherwise, how could she have completed so many missions in her previous life and escaped from so many people's pursuit? Even Yi Qianxian had fallen for her tricks several times when he wasn't paying attention. Now that she had such an aggrieved expression, those who didn't know would think that the imperial family of Tianyu had done something inhumane to the Luo clan. However, the Mang tiger guards lying on the ground were all from the imperial family of Tianyu. The Luo clan, including Luo Qingtong, were completely fine. The people around him were all dumbfounded. They didn't expect the young miss to have such a side. What they didn't know was that in front of Yi Qianxian, Luo Qingtong had all kinds of faces. In order to escape from the man's hands, Luo Qingtong had almost used the 72 transformations. This face was only one of them. Yi Qianren harumphed coldly. Although he knew that this woman was definitely putting on an act, the anger in his heart still rose layer by layer when he heard her say that she had been bullied. For the first time, he felt that he had been too slow to find this woman. Otherwise, he wouldn't have allowed the imperial family of Tianyu to humiliate her like this. He couldn't bear to hurt this woman at all, but the imperial family of Tianyu dared to make her a concubine. They even wanted to break her limbs. Thinking of this, Yi Qianxian's bloodthirsty aura rose. He didn't make a move. Instead, he looked at Luo Qingtong with his hands behind his back and said, "With me here, you can bully them back." He would let this woman vent her anger. Shameless boasting. When the martial emperor expert saw Yi Qianren appear, his face was filled with bewilderment. However, after sensing Yi Qianxian's aura for a while, he couldn't sense anything. His expression changed from bewilderment to mockery. Do you think that you can fool me by pretending to be a ghost? I'm not that stupid. Return to the original body. Why don't you say that you are the Blackfield's underworld venerable? As soon as he said this, the people of Evil Valley looked at him strangely. Others might not know Yi Qianxian's identity, but they did. This was the Supreme Blackfield. This martial emperor of Tianyu's royal family probably didn't know that he had guessed the truth. However, the martial emperor-level old man didn't notice their gazes at all. He only looked at Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian maliciously and said, Luo Qingtong, I didn't expect you to actually have an adulterer at home. You're even so arrogant and unconcealable. You're really looking down on the dignity of Tianyu's royal family. Luo Qingtong, just wait for me to cripple you and bring you back. As for the status of a concubine, you can forget about it. A slut like you isn't worthy of him. If Emma really wants you, then you can be a lowly slave. Anyway, this won't affect your service to Tianyu's royal family. As the martial emperor old man said this, he suddenly flew up like a vulture. His 5 fingers were like hooks, grabbing at Luo Qingtong fiercely. As for Yi Qianxian, he simply took him as a bluff to scare him. He didn't pay attention to him at all. However, just as he rose into the air, a voice rang out. Chapter 571. This. He froze in midair with a look of shock on his face. He could not move at all. Yi Qianxian did not even release his own aura. Just one look was enough to freeze the space and time around him. The martial emperor-level old man's boundless power, which seemed to have merged with his surroundings and could use the power of the heavens and the earth at will, was not worth mentioning in front of Yi Qianren. The man stared at him coldly. He could not tell if his aura was real or fake, but the martial emperor-level old man no longer dared to treat him as a powerless, nameless pawn. He froze him in midair with just one look, breaking his realm of being one with the heavens and causing all his power to be trapped in his body. He could not release it at all. What kind of valiant power was this? He was a martial emperor-level old man, not some random Tom, Dick or Harry. However, in front of this man he was like a speck of dust facing a tall mountain. The latter did not need to use any power at all. The wind from a random rock falling was enough to blow him away. That was what the martial emperor-level old man was feeling at this moment. The man looked at him as if he was looking at an overconfident ant. With a flick of his sleeve, crack, crack, crack. The martial emperor-level old man's bones were crushed into pieces in an instant. The power in his body was also crushed in an instant. A miserable cry of pain instantly burst out from his mouth. Yi Qianxian released the restraints and the martial emperor-level old man fell to the ground like a pile of mud. His body twitched violently and he gasped for breath like a dead fish on the ground. Yi Qianxian clasped his hands behind his back and looked at Luo Qingtong. I'll leave him for you to deal with. Luo Qingtong stared at him speechlessly. He had already beaten the old man to such a state and he was on his last breath. Why would he leave him for her to deal with? However, this martial emperor-level old man's mouth was too cheap. Luo Qingtong looked at the martial emperor with a dangerous gaze when she recalled that the other party had said that he would turn her into a lowly slave. I heard that the Blackfield has a place that specializes in training sex slaves. I don't know if it's suitable for someone as old as him. Luo Qingtong rubbed her chin. The martial emperor's eyes narrowed when he heard her words. Not only because Luo Qingtong said she wanted to turn him into a sex slave, but also because of Luo Qingtong's words, "Your Blackfield." Blackfield, true body. This was a silver-clothed, black-haired man. The martial emperor-level expert stared at Yi Qianxian in shock and horror. His mouth was wide open as he let out sounds of shock and despair. Mingzun. This silver-clothed, black-haired man was actually Blackfield's Mingzun. That was Supreme Blackfield's Mingzun. Thinking about how he had mocked and insulted the other party, and then thinking about how Luo Qingtong's lover was actually such a person, the martial emperor expert's eyes rolled back. He couldn't even breathe and was scared to death. Blackfield's Mingzun, the one who had an affair with Luo Qingtong, was actually that Supreme Blackfield's Mingzun. Tianyu's royal family was finished. It's over. Filled with endless regret and despair, the martial emperor's eyes widened and he breathed his last. Seeing the other party die, Yi Qianxian frowned. Then he ignored him and set his eyes on Luo Qingtong. His eyes were deep and burning. Chapter 572. This woman can't escape this time, can she? Xianxia looked at Luo Qingtong with a burning gaze. His thin lips moved slightly. Luo Qi. His voice had just sounded when suddenly Luo Qingtong's expression changed. Swish. She jumped up and swept past Xianxia in an instant. Her movement was so fast that Xianxia didn't have time to react. Is this woman going to run away again? In an instant the blue veins on Xianxia's forehead bulged. He tried so hard to find this woman's whereabouts, but she still wanted to run away. Once she thought about losing this woman's trail again and not knowing when she would be able to find this cunning woman again, Xianren felt like she wanted to destroy the world. But soon he calmed down. Because he found that the direction Luo Qingtong rushed was none other than the Luo family. This woman wasn't going to escape? What happened in the Luo family? Xianxian thought so, but he was still worried. His figure flashed and rushed in. This woman was too cunning. Who knew if she would disappear again after entering the Luo family? As Xianren thought of this, she immediately followed him in. Grandpa. Luo Qingtong's eyes were cold. Just now, she felt that the protection she set on old Master Luo was triggered. As the only family member that Luo Qingtong valued, Luo Qingtong protected old Master Luo to the best of her ability. Especially after old Master Luo was schemed against by Luo Lauer last time, Luo Qingtong was even more careful. At this moment she felt as if her heart and soul had been deeply touched. Something happened to old Master Luo. Swish. Luo Qingtong rushed into the main courtyard. As soon as she rushed in, she saw Prince De resisting the Luo family's array and rushing toward old Master Luo, covered in blood. Huh. Luo Qingtong, I didn't expect you to have an affair with Blackfield's Mingzun. It's over. It's all over. I'm finished. The entire imperial family of Tianyu is finished. Seeing Luo Qingtong rush in, Prince De's expression became extremely deranged. Who would have thought that Blackfield's Mingzun would fall in love with Luo Qingtong? The Black Domain searched everywhere for the whereabouts of evil Dr. Gray Tong. It was for no other reason than to find Luo Qingtong. What a joke. They tried their best to slander Luo Qingtong, wanting to imprison her in Tianyu's royal family and make her serve them. But in the end they caught the real adulterers. This adulterer, Wu's imperial family couldn't afford to offend him. If they had known about the relationship between Luo Qingtong and Black Region Underworld Venerable, they would never have dared to attack the Luo family, let alone imprison Luo Qingtong and make her a puppet of the royal family. Now that everything was exposed, neither he nor the royal family of Tianyu would have any chance of survival. Blackfield's Mingzun was powerful enough to cover the sky. Even the 4 sacred dynasties couldn't do anything about him. They could only let him develop his influence and take root in the 4 sacred dynasties. He was a peerless powerhouse who had developed Blackfield's inner city. For such a powerhouse, erasing the imperial family of Tianyu would be as easy as eating and drinking. The moment Prince De heard the news, he knew that he and the imperial family of Tianyu were done for. The only one who could survive was Yuan Mo, who was in the Empire of Qin's Sacred Academy and didn't know what they were doing. Haha. Luo Qingtong, even if I can't live, I'll make you suffer for the rest of your life. Chapter 573. Self-explosion. Prince De detonated all the power in his body. The power of the peak of the martial royal realm was compressed in an instant and then exploded violently. The shock wave of the explosion was almost equivalent to the full blow of an ordinary martial emperor realm expert. And old Master Luo was right in front of him. He had completely withstood this wave of attack. Grandpa. Seeing this, Luo Qingtong's eyes turned red instantly. Whoosh. She dashed over in an instant. At the same time Xianxian waved his sleeve. Instantly the violent attack of Prince De was frozen in place. The terrifying attack that didn't even have the time to wreak havoc was instantly imprisoned in place, and silently extinguished. The power of the Sage Realm was never something that could be estimated by ordinary people. Prince De used his life in exchange for this violent attack. Xianren didn't even put it in her eyes. She just casually waved her hand and the power completely disappeared. However, old Master Luo was nowhere to be seen. Grandpa. Luo Qingtong dashed over. In an instant her blood eyes opened. At this moment she did not care that she might reveal the secret of her pupil's skill in front of Yi Qianxian. Anyway, this man had already seen through many of her pupil's skill's secrets. She could not hide it from him for long. Moreover, since he had found her and she was not going to run away, she would naturally treat his injuries. In this way the secret of her pupil's skill would still be exposed. When little Nether Venerable disappeared, she was actually willing to believe his words. He wouldn't hurt her. Whoosh. Luo Qingtong's strength had been promoted to the intermediate martial king realm. She could activate and support more pupil skills. The blood-red light in her eyes intensified. In an instant the scene of Prince De's self-detonation was reflected in her eyes. The supreme pupil skill time reversal. As if it was replayed in slow motion, the scene suddenly appeared in Luo Qingtong's blood eyes. F***CK. Little Pig, who had jumped out of Luo Qingtong's sleeve, was stunned by this scene. H***T, this woman is abnormal again. This is too much. Time reversal. Even if an expert of the sage realm had mastered a certain amount of the law of heaven and earth. No, even if an expert of the sage realm and above understood the operation of the law of heaven and earth and began to comprehend the law of heaven, only a very few people could use this skill. Although Luo Qingtong's time reversal could only be used to replay images and could not turn back time in reality, it was already very powerful. This was a space-time skill. The law of time and space was the domain of gods. Once it was mastered by a master Luo Qingtong's god's time, Luo Qingtong's Qingtong. Little Pig's eyes widened as he watched Luo Qingtong use her eye technique in shock. Yi Qianxian also looked at Luo Qingtong with a deep gaze. In the next second he sensed that the people of the Luo family and little Overlord Yuan had arrived. He immediately waved his hand and a light wall surrounded Luo Qingtong in an instant, preventing others from prying into what she was doing. Chapter 574. Yi Qianxian subconsciously protected Luo Qingtong, guarding her secret. This woman, her magic, her beauty, it was enough for him to know. The others didn't need to know. Young Miss. Boss. Seeing Luo Qingtong surrounded by the wall of light, the others didn't know that it was created by Yi Qianxian to protect Luo Qingtong. They thought she was under attack and subconsciously wanted to rush forward, but Yi Qianxian stopped them. Your young miss is fine. Don't cause trouble. Yi Qianxian didn't know if there were any taboos for Luo Qingtong to use this skill, but for safety's sake he wouldn't let anyone disturb her. The man's voice was cold. His body floated in the air, emitting an invisible and oppressive aura. Almost instantly, everyone was suppressed to the ground, unable to resist at all. Little Overlord Yuan and the others were directly suppressed to the ground. At this moment the wall of light shattered with a swoosh and Luo Qingtong walked out from it. Her face was slightly pale as if she had overexerted herself, but she looked very relieved and relieved. Obviously Grandfather Luo was fine. But where did that old man go? Yi Qianxian raised his eyebrows. When Prince De self-destructed, he seemed to have felt a trace of spatial fluctuation. Life and death interdependence curse? He was just thinking about it and was about to tell Luo Qingtong, but he saw the girl's expression turn serious. She directly left in a hurry, surrounded by the Luo family's Iron Army and Evil Valley's people. She didn't even notice him. Looking at Luo Qingtong's departing figure, the completely forgotten Yi Qianxian, the veins on his forehead bulged again. At this moment a Luo family's Iron Army hurriedly rushed back and said to Yi Qianxian, "Young master, our young miss said she has something to do and will be back later. She asked you to wait in the residence for a while." After Luo Qingtong went out, she remembered that there was a big Buddha that she had forgotten in the Luo family. Thinking about Yi Qianxian's temper, she was afraid that he would think that she had run away again. If he lost control of his aura and destroyed the Luo family, who would she cry to? Immediately he sent a soldier of the Luo clan to report back. Yi Qianxian, who was fuming with anger and was about to dash out to capture Luo Qingtong, instantly gnashed his teeth when he heard this. This woman, to think she still remembered him. He was a dignified underworld venerable. Wherever he went he would be welcomed by tens of thousands of people. Only this woman could come and go at his beck and call. But he couldn't do anything to her. Glaring at the direction Luo Qingtong left for a while, Xianxia coldly ordered the Luo family's iron soldier, "Lead the way. I'm going to your eldest miss room to rest." Didn't he ask him to wait? He would wait in her room. He wanted to see when that woman would come back. If she dared to lie to him again. Xianxia kept saying he for a long time, but there was nothing he could do. He couldn't bear to hurt that woman. With a stomach full of gloominess, he walked with a cold face towards Luo Qingtong's courtyard. Before he left, he didn't forget to ask Bei Qing and Feng Yu to follow Luo Qingtong and make sure that nothing happened to her. Xianxia guessed that that woman must have gone to Tianyu's royal family to settle accounts. Grandfather Luo had such a big accident. Even if he was lucky to be fine, Luo Qingtong definitely wouldn't let it go. Not to mention that Tianyu's royal family clearly knew that she was the evil Dr. Ghost Eye and still wanted to control her. Xianxia naturally couldn't let Luo Qingtong suffer. No matter how angry his woman made him, it was his business to teach her a lesson. Chapter 575. Swoosh. Outside the Luo family, Luo Qingtong led the iron guards of the Luo family and the people of the Evil Valley into the courtyard of the Tianyu imperial family. They captured Prince Qing and the others who were recovering. Luo Qingtong. Prince Qing and the others were shocked to see Luo Qingtong and the others. What happened? Why was Luo Qingtong here? Shouldn't she be in the Tianyu branch? Because Luo Qingtong was in the Tianyu branch, they couldn't touch her. That was why they started with the Luo residents. They didn't expect her to be here. What about granduncle and the others? Prince Cheng's eyes widened when he suddenly thought of this question. You're looking for them? Luo Qingtong waved her hand and ordered the bodies of the martial Grand Emperor and the Tianyu imperial family to be brought up. The girl's beautiful face was filled with a cold smile. Why are you shocked? Don't worry, there's more to come. Luo Qingtong waved her hand. Take them all away. In addition, all the clans who helped the Tianyu imperial family to harm the Luo family must be massacred. Today I'll dye the eastern fence wall with blood. Whip the bodies of the heads of those clans and hang them on the city gate. Luo Qingtong's lips were filled with a bloodthirsty smile. Perhaps she had been too easy to talk to, so the clans of the eastern fence country joined them to attack the Luo family after the Tianyu imperial family made it clear that they wanted to deal with the Luo family. If she wasn't ruthless enough before, then she would change. This time she would let everyone know how angry they would be if they attacked the Luo family. If those external troubles could not be eradicated, then she would let everyone know how terrifying it was to dare to touch her Luo family. Even if those people could tear off a piece of flesh from the Luo family, they would be killed by her. Grandfather Luo's disappearance had completely triggered the bloodthirsty beast hidden in Luo Qingtong's heart. What these people didn't know was that she, Evil Eye, had never been a kind person. However, for the development of the Luo family and the existence of Old Master Luo, she slightly suppressed the evil in her bones. Otherwise, according to her previous temperament, how could the royal family of Tianyu plot against her? She had already taken it away at all costs. It was precisely because she was worried about the Luo family and had the shackles of kinship that she restrained herself a little. However, those people seemed to have taken her tolerance as a concession. In that case, she would let them know the consequences of angering her. Rumble. Luo Qingtong took out the gloomy and cold Rakshasa mask from her bosom and put it on her face with a sneer. In just a moment she had turned into that demonic youth that overflowed with evil energy, the one who had attracted the attention of countless holy dynasty influences, the one who was sought after by everyone within the entire True Spill continent, evil Dr. Ghost Pupil. Let's go to the Tianyu Empire's imperial city. Playing with the wind and thunder sword in her hands, Luo Qingtong's voice was cold, carrying with it a chilling aura. Today I will slaughter the royal family of Tianyu. Shua. Chapter 576. Tianyu Empire, Imperial City. At this moment the most prosperous city in Tianyu Empire had entered a state of level 1 alert. Emperor Tianyu stood on the walls of the imperial palace, glaring angrily at the army besieging the imperial city. Ling Feng. Are you Duke Ling's people crazy? How dare you mobilize your private army to besiege the imperial city? Are you trying to rebel? Emperor Tianyu was still dreaming about controlling Luo Qingtong when he heard a report that Duke Ling's people had mobilized their army to besiege the imperial city. He thought it was fake, but it turned out to be true. How dare the people from Duke Ling's mansion? How dare they attack the imperial family at this time? Did they plan this from the start? Emperor Tianyu was furious. He had mobilized tens of thousands of elite tiger guards to deal with House Luo. They should have Master Luo under control by now. Otherwise, how could Duke Ling's people have the chance to invade the imperial city? Ling Feng, I advise you not to make a mistake. Emperor Tianyu looked coldly at Duke Ling's people. Although all the elite tiger guards have been mobilized, the imperial city's 3 armies are still loyal to the imperial family. You mobilized the Ling army and the Middle army to besiege the imperial city. Do you really think the imperial city's 3 armies will let you do whatever you want? Your Majesty is right. On the back of the horse, the old Duke Ling, who was already 60 years old, laughed out loud. He had just received news that evil Dr. Ghost Eye was on his way here. With that person's ability and House Lanyue's help, the imperial family of Tianyu was isolated and helpless in the imperial city. Even if the Tiger Guards hadn't been mobilized, they were nothing in front of evil Dr. Ghost Eye and House Lanyue. He looked at Emperor Tianyu with pity. Your Majesty, you don't have to wait. The imperial city's 3 armies are blocked by House Lanyue's people outside the city. You should know how powerful that family is. That's a force comparable to a sacred dynasty. If not for old Master Lanyue being nostalgic and wanting to settle down in Sky Universe Imperial City, they would never have appeared in our empire. With them here, Your Majesty, you don't need to think about reinforcements. Other than us, no other army will enter the imperial city. Old Duke Ling's words instantly made Emperor Tianyu's face turn ashen. The Lanyue family. It was actually the Lanyue family. Their aristocratic family had made a move. How is this possible? He exclaimed. The Lanyue family has a special status and will never interfere in the affairs of the empire or help Duke Ling's mansion to usurp the throne against the royal family of Tianyu. There must be some misunderstanding. Old Duke Ling laughed heartily. Your Majesty, don't you know? It was evil Dr. Ghost Eye who asked the Lanyue family to take action and cut off all of your royal family's paths of survival. I'm also very curious. Just what did you do to make that evil Dr. Ghost Eye, who is at the pinnacle of the Blackfield and even the entire True Spill continent, swear that he won't rest until he exterminates your royal family? Evil Dr. Ghost Eyes. Emperor Tianyu's mind buzzed when he heard these words. It was her. Luo Qingtong. It was actually her. Did she know what they did to the Luo family, so she came to take revenge? While Emperor Tianyu was still in a daze, when, in the sky, a series of buzzing sounds could be heard. No wonder such a good thing like changing the dynasty would fall on their Ling family. Luo Qingtong's father, Luo Qingtong's family, Luo Qingtong's Luo family. The reason why the Ling family was chosen was probably because of his grandsons. Their Ling family really hit the jackpot this time. Thinking of this, old Duke Ling happily went up to the group of people. Evil Dr. Ghost Eye, he said respectfully as he stared at Luo Qingtong, who was at the front. Even if he had never seen evil Dr. Ghost Eye before, he definitely wouldn't mistake her for someone else. Chapter 578. Emperor of Tianyu. Luo Qingtong mockingly looked at the majestic man in a dragon robe. Looking at his appearance, he already knew her identity. Knowing that she was the evil Dr. Ghost Eye, he still dared to send the betrothal gifts to the Luo clan. Tens of thousands of Mang Tiger Guards were sent to destroy her Luo clan, right? If she didn't get the news, the Luo clan would be trampled to the ground. Grandfather Luo would fall into the hands of these people and be used to blackmail her. Unfortunately, they didn't know what kind of a terrifying evil spirit she was. In her previous life, there were many forces that wanted to control her and make her work for them. But those people all died in the end. Emperor of Tianyu and the royal family were no exception. Luo. Seeing Luo Qingtong in front of him wearing a Luo Sha mask, Emperor of Tianyu's face was pale with fear. Since he already knew Luo Qingtong's identity, he naturally knew why she was here. But what's going on? Shouldn't Luo Qingtong be in the Tianyu Branch Academy? The latter opened the Kai Yuan secret realm, so Luo Qingtong should be there to gain experience. How could she appear here and know about their plan against the Luo clan? Emperor of Tianyu looked at Luo Qingtong with eyes full of shock. It's not that they didn't think of directly attacking Luo Qingtong, but she was in the Tianyu branch academy and they couldn't find a chance to do so. What's more, they didn't want Luo Qingtong's identity to be known by everyone. After all, they wanted to control her in their hands, so the less they knew about her identity the better. Therefore, they wanted to start with the Luo clan and use Luo Qingtong's betrayal of the royal engagement as an excuse to openly attack Luo Qingtong and control her in their hands. But how did this plan get exposed? Emperor of Tianyu dared to guarantee that other than the most important people in the royal family, no one else knew about their plan. They hid it so well, but Luo Qingtong still saw through it. What kind of girl was she? Looking at Luo Qingtong in front of him, Emperor Tianyu's heart was filled with regret and fear. He couldn't control his body and trembled violently. If he had known earlier, he would have treated Luo Qingtong and the Luo family better. If that was the case, the other party would have already become a helper of Tianyu's royal family. Evil Dr. Ghost Eye. Emperor Tianyu forced himself to remain calm as he looked at the demonic young man below. He originally wanted to call out Luo Qingtong's name, but he seemed to have thought of something and swallowed the words back down. This time it's our fault. We were blinded by greed. But with the relationship between our families and Immerse feelings for you. He looked at Luo Qingtong and said in a trembling voice, "If you let us go, we will drop this matter. Tianyu's royal family has nothing to do with you anymore. We won't reveal your identity to anyone else." What do you think? Emperor Tianyu's words were both a plea and a threat. The meaning of his words was very clear. He was willing to cancel the engagement between Yu Wenmo and Luo Qingtong. He also promised not to reveal Luo Qingtong's identity as long as she let them go. He wouldn't reveal Luo Qingtong's identity. He was using this to threaten Luo Qingtong. If she didn't let them go, he would reveal Luo Qingtong's identity. He would expose her and the Luo family to the world. Chapter 579. Hearing his words, Luo Qingtong found it funny. "Are you threatening me?" She raised her Rakshasa mask and stared coldly at Emperor Tianyu with her crimson eyes. Luo Qingtong's lips curled up. "You can try and see if you can say anything about me." If she didn't want anyone to say anything, no one would be able to. Emperor Tianyu really didn't know the meaning of death by threatening her. No, they were already acting recklessly when they attacked her and the Luo clan. Luo Qingtong coldly looked at Emperor Tianyu. The latter was shocked when he heard her words. "You." Luo Qingtong. He wanted to call out Luo Qingtong's name, but he found that no matter how he opened his mouth, he could not say anything related to Luo Qingtong. Even the words Luo clan and the engagement were taboo. How was this possible? Emperor of Tianyu's eyes widened. He tried again and again in disbelief. After confirming that this was indeed the case, his expression changed. His legs went soft and he almost fell to his knees. Emperor Tianyu shook off the eunuch who came to support him and looked down at Luo Qingtong with horror. "What did you do to me?" "Not to him but to everyone here." Luo Qingtong looked coldly at Emperor Tianyu, who was panicking above the imperial city. Since she was here, how could she give the Tianyu imperial family a chance to reveal her identity? Emperor Tianyu really underestimated her evil Dr. Ghost eyes. "Do it." Too lazy to talk nonsense with him, Luo Qingtong directly raised her right hand. His eyes were filled with bloodthirsty killing intent as he looked at the huge and majestic imperial city. It made his pair of demonic blood-red eyes look incomparably beautiful. It was as if countless bloody colors were leaking out from that pair of eyes. The killing intent was awe-inspiring, cold, and resolute. "Kill. Everyone from the Tianyu imperial family, kill." "No. Pardon." Following Luo Qingtong's words, which were full of killing intent, the Luo clan's Iron Army and the Evil Valley's people behind her instantly moved. Old Duke Ling also gave the order to attack at this moment. However, looking at the slightly weaker strength of the Luo clan's Iron Army, his expression was a little strange. The strength of these people seemed to be a little weak. How could the people around His Excellency Evil Dr. Ghost Eye be so powerful? He hesitated, wondering if he should suggest to Luo Qingtong that the Luo family's Iron Army should not make a move, lest they be lost here for no reason. After all, their strength was far from the strength of the elites of the top aristocratic families of the empire. However, the moment old Duke Ling thought that, he was immediately slapped in the face. Bang bang bang. The Luo clan's iron army, holding the spiritual qi spears given by Luo Qingtong, were even more powerful than the elites of the Ling clan's iron army. Old Duke Ling stared at the strange weapons in the hands of the Luo clan's iron army, dumbfounded. They only needed a little strength to drive the weapons to turn the spiritual qi in the air into attacks, which was far beyond their own strength. What kind of weapons were these? Why had he never seen them before? Could it be that His Excellency Evil Dr. Ghost I was not only an alchemist with amazing medical skills, but also a blacksmith? As old Duke Ling was thinking, his hand that was stroking his beard couldn't help but pull out a handful of his beard. It was so painful that he almost cried. Chapter 580. A huge defensive array suddenly appeared above Tianyu Royal City, blocking all the attacks from the Luo and Ling armies. Buzz. Ripples spread out from the huge defensive array. The attacks of the Luo clan's iron army and the Ling clan's army were all absorbed by the defensive array. In the next second, a series of attacks suddenly shot out from the array formation. It was a similar array to the one Luo Qingtong had set up in the Luo family. Could absorb and reflect attacks. This was the array that the Tianyu royal family had set up over 1,000 years. It was the most important defense of Tianyu Royal City and also its last line of defense. It would not be activated unless it was a matter of life and death. Rumble. The array spun rapidly. Wave after wave of attacks instantly rushed towards the Ling army and the Luo family's iron army. At the same time, a few figures with powerful auras appeared beside the Emperor of Tianyu on the city walls. Humph. Evil physician Gui Tong. What an arrogant tone. You want to destroy the Tianyu royal family. These figures were the martial emperors of the Tianyu royal family. They still had injuries on their bodies, but their martial emperor's auras were enough to intimidate everyone. If you reveal your true identity as the evil physician Ghost Eye and ask for help from the Dark Domain or a group of celestial dynasties, we might be a little afraid of you. But you want to destroy the Tianyu royal family with just these people from the Ling family? What a joke. One of the martial emperors looked arrogant as he looked at Luo Qingtong with greed and malice. Luo Qingtong was too arrogant. She did not reveal her identity and came to the various forces to help. She probably did not want those forces to find out her whereabouts. He was stupid. Did she think that she could destroy the Tianyu royal family with just these people? Even if she asked the Luan Yu family to help, they were blocking the Tianyu royal family's army outside the city. Before they arrived, they could capture Luo Qingtong. They would not dare to act rashly. Luo Qingtong, you're the one who brought it to me. The martial emperor-level powerhouse laughed heartily. In the next second, his figure flashed and he appeared beside Luo Qingtong. To catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. His expression was cold and stern. His 5 fingers were like hooks as he instantly grabbed at Luo Qingtong's throat. After I capture you, let's see who else dares to go against our Tianyu royal family. This martial emperor-grade powerhouse had just entered the martial emperor realm. As he moved, an awe-inspiring aura shot towards Luo Qingtong to bind her. The space around the latter began to condense. This was the power of a martial emperor in the union of heaven and man realm. Not only were they able to launch their own attacks, but they were also able to use their own attacks to manipulate the surrounding spirit qi to restrict their opponent's movements. This was the so-called unity of man and nature. However, this martial emperor had been injured before and had not fully recovered yet. His attacks were much weaker than those of ordinary martial emperors who had just entered the martial emperor realm. The spirit qi surrounding Luo Qingtong was also not enough to restrict her movements. Seeing this martial emperor realm powerhouse attacking her, Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. Chapter 581. Swish. Luo Qingtong raised her hand and waved. Heaven-conquering skill. Seize heaven's fortune. Following Luo Qingtong's shout, a beam of sword light suddenly flew out from the life and death 2 right sword in her hand. It flew towards the martial emperor expert who suddenly opened his eyes wide. Bang! Under Luo Qingtong's pupil technique, the beam of sword light broke through the lingering spiritual qi of heaven and earth around the martial emperor expert as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. It broke through his defense and slashed into his body through the wound caused by Yi Qianxian. You. The martial emperor expert's eyes were filled with horror. Luo Qingtong's attack was too accurate. It directly hit his previous wound. More importantly, she was only at the intermediate martial king realm. However, with the help of that sword move, she was able to exert the strength of a martial emperor. Martial king realm. How old was Luo Qingtong? Furthermore, the sword move that she displayed was actually able to raise her attack power to such an extent. Just what level of martial skill was it? Sage realm? Or even higher? She was only at the martial king realm, but she was able to use a sword move of the sage realm. How monstrous was Luo Qingtong? What kind of treasure did the royal family of Tianyu miss out on? Such a person should have been the daughter-in-law of the royal family of Tianyu. The newly advanced martial emperor widened his eyes and breathed his last with a remaining grievance. Plop. His body fell heavily to the ground. Third brother. Seeing the martial emperor expert die, the martial emperors on the city wall instantly changed their expressions. They looked at Luo Qingtong as if they were looking at a monster. An intermediate martial king realm expert killed a martial emperor expert. Even if third brother was injured, it was not the reason why Luo Qingtong could kill him. Monstrous. Too monstrous. They knew Luo Qingtong's identity very well. Others were shocked and in awe of the evil Dr. Ghost Eye's strength, but they were indescribably cold. Luo Qingtong was only 15 years old this year, right? The talent and strength she displayed had far surpassed the top geniuses of the sacred dynasties. Even the royal families of the 4 sacred dynasties could not cultivate a genius like Luo Qingtong. The talent and potential that Yu Wenma had displayed was nothing in front of Luo Qingtong. Not to mention that she was an alchemist with amazing medical skills. She was highly sought after. Such a Luo Qingtong was definitely a disaster to the royal family of Tianyu. She had to be eradicated at all costs. Previously, these people still wanted to imprison and control Luo Qingtong because of her identity as the evil Dr. Ghost Eye. But now, after witnessing her terrifying talent and strength, they no longer had such thoughts. This was a magnificent phoenix that was destined to soar into the 9 heavens. They could not control her at all. The best way would be to kill her before she matured. Otherwise, what awaited the royal family would be a disaster. The martial emperors were filled with unspeakable regret. If they had known that Luo Qingtong's talent and strength were so monstrous, they would not have thought of controlling her. They would have killed her at all costs. But it was not too late now. Thinking of this, the martial emperors looked at Luo Qingtong with eyes full of killing intent. Attack together. We can't let her leave alive. The oldest and most respected martial emperor of the royal family of Tianyu shouted sternly. Chapter 582. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. They were extremely fast. At this point in time, these martial emperors could no longer care about their own dignity. They couldn't care less about how shameless it was for a group of martial emperors to attack a junior like Luo Qingtong. In their opinion, Luo Qingtong's talent and ability were too demonic. No matter what price they had to pay, they had to keep such a demonic talent here. What was dignity? For the future of the Tianyu imperial family and their lives, it was not worth mentioning. Boss. Seeing the group of martial emperors attacking Luo Qingtong, little overlord Yuan and the others were shocked. The Luo family Iron Army and the people from Evil Valley were also shocked. Eldest Miss. Master. These people from the Tianyu imperial family were too shameless. No one expected that they would join forces to attack Luo Qingtong. A group of martial emperors attacking a junior of the intermediate martial king realm. How shameless were they? Grandpa. Ling Yu stomped her feet and called Duke Ling. Duke Ling's mansion also had martial emperors, but they did not have as many martial emperors as the Tianyu imperial family. However, before they could do anything, the Tianyu imperial family attacked Luo Qingtong. Seeing the group of martial emperors rushing towards her, Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. The blood-red light in his eyes was extremely intense. Luo Qingtong could dodge the attack of the 9-blade assassin, so it was impossible for the group of martial emperors to surround Luo Qingtong. just as she was about to rush out of the gap in the encirclement of the group of people. Bang! 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 The few martial grand emperors who were rushing towards Luo Qingtong suddenly seemed to have been attacked. One by one they spat out blood and flew out. Boom! The group of people crashed heavily on the protective array above the Tianyu imperial city. The light on the defensive array trembled violently, and ripples spread across its surface. Suddenly, in the next second, the defensive formation exploded. Bang bang bang! A huge force exploded in all directions. In an instant, screams of agony could be heard in Sky Universe Royal City. Those from Tianyu's imperial family all fell to the ground screaming. In the blink of an eye, the group of elite Tiger Guard and Tianyu imperial family members surrounding the imperial city decreased by a whole circle. Emperor Tianyu was also thrown to the ground by the shockwaves. The berserk power exploded and pierced through his body. However, such intense pain didn't elicit any reaction from Emperor Tianyu. He just raised his head and looked at the group of people who suddenly appeared beside Luo Qingtong in shock. How dare you? Do you think you can humiliate the matriarch of Blackfield? Bei Qing and Feng Yu floated beside Luo Qingtong as they stared coldly in the direction of Tianyu Royal City. Mistress of the Blackfield. Emperor Tianyu almost couldn't breathe after hearing this and almost fainted on the spot. Luo Qingtong was the matriarch of the Blackfield. Didn't that mean that Mingzun of the Blackfield? That Mingzun was together with Luo Qingtong. Emperor Tianyu's body twitched violently as he looked in Luo Qingtong's direction with shock and despair. Who would have thought that this would be the outcome? If they had offended Luo Qingtong and evil Dr. Ghost Eye, they might have had a slim chance of survival. Chapter 583. Sover. Sover. Emperor Tianyu couldn't take it anymore. With a bang he fell down from the city wall, smashing his head against the wall. His head was bleeding and he was no longer breathing. Luo Qingtong didn't have time to pay attention to Bei Qing and Feng Yu's words. Her eyes were fixed on Tianyu Imperial City, which had lost its protection. Her eyes were bloodshot and filled with killing intent, making her look like an Azura from hell. Kill. She waved her hand and pointed her sword at Tianyu Imperial City. Leave no one alive from Tianyu's imperial family. If you don't remove the roots, they'll grow again. Tianyu's imperial family had persecuted her and the Luo clan time and time again. First they wanted to control her, then they wanted to kill her. A death grudge had already been formed. In this strange world where one could sacrifice everything for one's family, Luo Qingtong wouldn't leave any trouble for herself and the Luo clan. To be merciful to the enemy is to be cruel to oneself. If she hadn't seen through Tianyu's imperial family's scheme, the Luo clan would be dead now. Dragons have reverse scales, phoenixes have feathers. Touch and you'll die. The Luo clan and Old Master Luo were her only source of warmth in this strange world. Whoever touched them would die. Yes. Following Luo Qingtong's order, the entire Luo clan's army and Evil Valley's army moved. Seeing Luo Qingtong being surrounded by the martial emperors of Tianyu's imperial family, everyone's hearts were in their throats. Now that he saw that she was fine, his anger and murderous intent instantly ignited. How dare they lay their hands on the young miss? These Tianyu's imperial family members deserved to die. Duke Ling's men were also frightened by Luo Qingtong's dangerous situation. Hearing the order, they also rushed towards Tianyu Imperial City. Especially those martial emperors of Duke Ling's mansion who didn't have time to act. They were filled with killing intent. If anything happened to evil Dr. Gui Tong in front of them, they wouldn't be able to bear the wrath of the Black Field. But, at the same time, the group of people was also very puzzled. Evil Dr. Gui Tong was actually the matriarch of the Black Field. Isn't Sir Evil Physician a man? Everyone stole glances at Luo Qingtong's slender figure. That devilish figure, that peerlessly domineering aura, and that wanton demonic temperament. No matter how he looked at it, it didn't look like a woman. So, that Supreme Blackfield was actually a homosexual? The group was horrified by their own imaginations, but soon they felt relieved. If it was the evil Dr. Ghost Eye, then it was normal for the Supreme of the Blackfield to be a homosexual. Because the other party was too monstrous, too dazzling. Rumble. As the group of people charged into Sky Universe Royal City, cries of agony could be heard everywhere. The people of Sky Universe Royal City resisted stubbornly. There were even people who cursed Luo Qingtong loudly. Luo Qingtong didn't pay any attention to them. She just coldly swept forward. Empress Tianyu's palace. Because they were in the inner court of the royal palace, the people here didn't know that Sky Universe Royal City had already been breached. At this moment, Empress Tianyu was talking to Yu Wenxue in her palace. Mother, is everything okay outside? Duke Ling's men won't attack, right? Yu Wenxue asked worriedly. What do you think our Tianyu's imperial family is? Their Duke Ling's men want to replace our Tianyu's imperial family? Dream on. Empress Tianyu's face was filled with mockery. Chapter 584. Humph. At this time, the Mang Tiger Guard should have already flattened the Luo family, right? Slowly picking up a fresh flower that a maid just picked from outside, the Empress of Tianyu's face is gloomy and cold. With a snap, she broke the flower branch and crumpled the blossoming flower into a ball. I really can't wait to see Luo Qingtong's face when she finds out that the Luo family has been destroyed and is in so much pain that she wants to die. When that old fart from the Luo family is captured, this Empress will definitely properly entertain him. I will let him enjoy all the torture in this world and then have Luo Qingtong personally witness it. Only then will I be able to dispel the hatred in my heart. This Empress will torture her bit by bit, let her live a life worse than death, to pay tribute to my Fei family's spirit in heaven. The Empress of Tianyu's voice is sharp. Right. Yu Wenxue is also filled with jealousy. We must properly torture her. Mother Empress, scratch her face first. Then cripple her strength and let her live like a dog. Yu Wenxue never thought that Luo Qingtong would actually be the evil Dr. Ghost Eye. When she came back from the Tianyu Branch Academy and heard this news, she didn't dare to believe it. Evil Dr. Ghost Eye. Thinking of the Kaiyuan secret realm, it was the other party who saved them. That monstrous talent and ability. Then thinking of how Luo Qingtong fought against Yi Qingqing's group and injured their entire team, Yu Wenshue's heart is filled with jealousy. How can Luo Qingtong be the evil Dr. Ghost Eye? How can she be the evil Dr. Ghost Eye? That person that she can't even look up to. Luo Qingtong is only fit to be a dog at her feet. She can humiliate, beat and scold her as she pleases. How can she become so dazzling? Yu Wenxue can't accept it. But now, Imperial Father and Imperial Mother want to deal with her. In the end, Luo Qingtong can only be humiliated as she pleases. Thinking that she can trample the evil Dr. Ghost Eye under her feet, Yu Wenshue's heart is filled with joy. But this joy doesn't last for long. It seems that the Empress and the 7th Princess miss me very much. Luo Qingtong kicked open the door of the bedroom with a bang. She'd overheard the conversation between the Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue. Luo, why are you here? Seeing Luo Qingtong's disguise, Empress of Tianyu wanted to call out Luo Qingtong's name. However, she couldn't open her mouth. She looked at Luo Qingtong in shock, but the latter just looked at her with a cold smile. Of course I'm here to send you guys off and get something. However, I've changed my mind. The Empress of Tianyu and Yu Wenxue had already planned out their future, so how could Luo Qingtong not help them? Luo Qingtong strode in front of Tianyu Empress and broke her hand without waiting for her to speak. But, Amidst the Empress's screams, Luo Qingtong pressed down on her broken hand and stamped a letter she'd prepared. Luo, what are you doing? The Empress of Tianyu's forehead is dripping with sweat, her face contorted in pain. Luo Qingtong put away the letter. Of course it's the annulment. How could Luo Qingtong let Tianyu's imperial family take over her engagement? With this annulment, Yu Wenma can't do anything even if he doesn't want to. She'll also take back the Luo family's token of marriage from Yu Wenma. Chapter 585. Whoosh. Luo Qingtong strode away. Just as Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue heaved a sigh of relief, thinking they'd escaped death, Luo Qingtong's voice came from outside. I'll leave the two of them to you. Did you hear what they said just now? Just do as they say. Don't miss a single word. Don't let them die too easily. Luo Qingtong's voice was cold. Yes. Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue were horrified, not knowing who Luo Qingtong was talking to. At this moment, Bei Qing and Feng Yu's group appeared. They'd been following Luo Qingtong and protecting her in the dark. Naturally, they'd heard everything and looked at the Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue with dangerous gazes. These two vicious women were truly vicious. However, they probably didn't expect that all of these vicious punishments would fall on them in the end. Blackfield's people. Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue almost fainted when they saw the Blackfield uniforms on Bei Qing and Feng Yu's group. How could this be? Why were there Blackfield's people by Luo Qingtong's side? Didn't they say that Blackfield's people were looking for evil Dr. Ghost Eye everywhere but to no avail? Otherwise, Tianyu's imperial family wouldn't have gotten the portrait of Luo Qingtong and learned that Luo Qingtong was evil Dr. Ghost Eye. But now, why were Blackfield's people by Luo Qingtong's side? Tianyu Empress was so shocked that she almost fainted. Yu Wenxue, on the other hand, was terrified. No. You can't do this to us. I'm the 7th princess of Tianyu's imperial family. My mother is the Empress of Tianyu Empire. My brother is Yu Wenmo, a disciple of the Saint Academy of the Empire of Qin. A sky-grade student. A peerless genius. You can't do this to me. She screamed crazily. Our Tianyu imperial family also has connections in the Empire of Qin. And that one. As she spoke, she seemed to have grasped at a life-saving straw and desperately shouted, the noble daughter of the great Yong dynasty's imperial family. Luo, if you dare to touch us, she will definitely not let you off. She admires my brother and wants to be with him. If it weren't for you holding on to the marriage agreement with my brother, he would have already been together with that noble lady. Who do you think you are? What evil Dr. Ghost Eye? They're nothing in front of her. It's you. You're the one who ruined our Tianyu royal family's advancement. If it wasn't for that, I would already be a princess of the great Yong dynasty. Tianyu's royal family's strength will also rise. Why don't you go and die? Why don't you just die? Yu Wenxue had completely lost her mind and crazily shouted, pushing all the blame onto Luo Qingtong. However, she completely forgot that from the beginning to the end, it was Yu Wenmo who didn't agree to break off the engagement. It had nothing to do with Luo Qingtong and the Luo family. Shua. Hearing Yu Wenshue's shouting, Luo Qingtong, who had already walked far away, suddenly appeared in front of her. Looking at the crazed Yu Wenxue in front of her, Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes and suddenly lifted her up by the neck. Who is it? Her voice was cold. That noble daughter of the great Yong dynasty, who is she? Luo Qingtong had always been looking for the person hiding in the great Yong dynasty who had secretly harmed the original owner's eyes. She didn't expect Yu Wenxue to know. Chapter 586. She had thought that it was the other party who had approached Luo Xingning alone. Now it seemed that the royal family of Tianyu knew about it as well. The other party had attacked the original owner of the body because of Yuan Mo? Was it a coincidence that the poison had blinded the original owner of the body, or had the other party done it on purpose? Was Yuan Mo the reason for the other party to attack the original owner of the body, or was it true? Luo Qingtong felt that this matter was getting more and more interesting. Tell me everything you know. Luo Qingtong's voice was cold. She had already ordered Bei Qing, Feng Yu and the others. Can you form a boundary to block the connection between this space and the outside world? Can you prevent others from sensing what is happening here from thousands of miles away? With the experience of being silenced once, Luo Qingtong directly eliminated this possibility this time. She believed that with Bei Qing and Feng Yu's strength, they would definitely be able to do this. The people around that man were not ordinary people. Sure. You can ask me anything you want. As soon as Luo Qingtong said that, Bei Qing, Feng Yu and Feng Yu reacted immediately. Feng Yu nodded. Bei Qing and the others had already released their auras and isolated the space around Luo Qingtong. Under their auras, no one could detect what was happening in the space unless they were above the Saint Realm. Even if there was a boundary, it could not be touched. Looking at their actions, Luo Qingtong threw Yu Wenxue on the ground. She pulled a chair and sat in front of her. She said coldly, "Speak. Who is she?" Luo Qingtong, are you scared? Yu Wenxue did not notice what Luo Qingtong said to Bei Qing and Feng Yu. She did not know that Bei Qing and Feng Yu were the bodyguards of Mingzun in the Blackfield. At this moment she looked at Luo Qingtong and laughed maniacally. That is Princess Feng Yuan of the Great Yong Dynasty. The first princess of the Great Yong Dynasty, the first noble lady and the first genius. Princess Feng Yuan reached the martial king realm at the age of 16. Now she has surpassed the martial emperor realm and entered the martial spirit realm. I heard that she will soon reach the martial grandmaster realm. At that time she will be only one step away from the saint realm. She is ranked first in the young phoenix list of the 4 sacred academies. Luo Qingtong, the difference between you and her is like heaven and earth. That evil Dr. Ghost Eye of yours can only scare others. You are nothing in front of her. Yuanxia became more and more. If Luo Qingtong hadn't taken over the engagement with her royal brother and made him insist on not breaking off the engagement, Princess Feng Yuan might have been together with her royal brother long ago. Princess Feng Yuan was a proud daughter of the heavens. How could she be involved with a man who was already engaged? It was all Luo Qingtong's fault. Yuanxia's heart was filled with resentment. She did not care about her current situation. She looked at Luo Qingtong with eyes that were filled with poison. Luo Qingtong did not bother to pay attention to her. Yuanxia was arrogant and did not know much about the outside world. She was like a frog at the bottom of a well. In her opinion, Luo Qingtong's evil Dr. Ghost Eye's identity could only be flaunted outside of the 4 sacred dynasties. She did not know that Luo Qingtong's identity was something that even the major powers of the 4 sacred dynasties wanted to investigate. The 4 sacred dynasties did not lack alchemists. But for someone like Luo Qingtong who could refine elixirs at such a young age that were comparable to those reclusive elders, there was no one else. As for cultivation, Luo Qingtong was already a mid-level martial king at the age of 15. Chapter 587. The Blackfield people looked at Yuanxia as if they were looking at an idiot. They wondered where she had come from when she said that Luo Qingtong and Princess Feng Yuan were as different as clouds and mud. Did she really think that just anyone was worthy of the Blackfield's protection? Even if their lord didn't fall in love with the evil doctor, the latter couldn't be humiliated. Luo Qingtong deserved the Blackfield's careful treatment. If that Princess Feng Yuan wanted to trample the evil doctor to the bottom of the mud, she was probably not qualified. Alright, I'm done asking. You can deal with the rest. Luo Qingtong couldn't be bothered to look at Yuanxia. She got up and left. Seeing her leaving figure, Yuanxia struggled to stand up and shouted at Luo Qingtong. Luo Qingtong, didn't you hear what I said? Princess Feng Yuan is so powerful and has fallen in love with my royal brother. If she knew what you did to us, she wouldn't let you and the Luo family off. Stop. Stop right there. Come back. She hysterically shouted at Luo Qingtong's leaving figure. Her expression was crazed to the extreme. Yuanxia was very scared. She knew in her heart how vicious the punishment she had just mentioned to Luo Qingtong was. She didn't want to end up in that situation. Luo Qingtong must be scared. He was just holding on. She would soon turn around and let go of her. However, no matter how she shouted, Luo Qingtong didn't turn around. She just left. From the looks of it, he didn't take her words seriously at all. Yuanxia's expression stiffened. At this moment, a Blackfield person spoke. I really don't know where your confidence comes from. Her Excellency the evil doctor is someone our Lord loves. Her strength has already reached the mid-level martial king realm. Within a year he went from the martial master realm to the martial king realm. No one can compare to him. That Princess Feng Yuan is the #1 genius of the Great Yong Dynasty, #1 on the Young Phoenix list of the 4 great sacred academies? Don't worry, it won't be for long. It was more than enough for the evil doctor to enter the sacred academy of the Empire of Qin. At that time, it would be hard to say who would be the real #1 on the Young Phoenix leaderboard. Hearing the Blackfield member's words, Yuanxia's face was completely lifeless. She stared blankly at the man from the Blackfield, his words echoing in her mind. Luo Qingtong was the girl that their lord had fallen in love with. She was a mid-level martial king. How old was Luo Qingtong? 15 years old. Yuanxia's voice trembled as she laughed. His laughter sounded like he was crying and his expression was unbelievably twisted. Lord of the Blackfield? Isn't that the Blackfield underworld venerable? No matter how ignorant Yuanxia was, it was impossible for her not to have heard of his name. Luo Qingtong was actually the girl that the Blackfield Underworld Venerable had fallen in love with. How could this be? How could this be? However, Yuan Shui had no choice but to believe the Blackfield member's words. She thought about how she had used her status as Princess Feng Yuan to pressure Luo Qingtong. How could her status be compared to the Blackfield Underworld Venerable? They weren't even on the same level. The difference between the clouds and mud. Who was the clouds and who was the mud? At this time, the fainted Empress of Tianyu slowly regained consciousness. Her body began to tremble violently when she heard the words of the man from the dark domain. In the next second, her eyes rolled back, white foam came out of her mouth, and she fainted again. Before she lost consciousness, her heart was filled with regret. Chapter 588. The Blackfields Mingzun. With the Blackfields Mingzun, she and Yu Wenxue couldn't die even if they wanted to. They could only taste the vicious punishment she had just uttered. That was definitely something more terrifying than death. Just as the Tianyu Empress fainted, Luo Qingtong had already flown out of the Tianyu Imperial Palace and returned to the Luo family on the spirit ship. She didn't need to worry about the Tianyu Empire anymore. The Ling family wanted to replace the Tianyu Imperial family so they would take care of everything. Otherwise, why would she ask them to come? When they returned to the Luo family, the sky was already dark. After eating something, Luo Qingtong used the Mingzunai technique to draw what she saw after turning back time. She handed it to the Blackfields people and asked them to investigate. She turned around and went back to her room. Without even turning on the light, she lay down on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. She was too tired. The battle in the Kaiyuan secret realm and the drawing of the inscription of space were extremely exhausting. After coming out of the Kaiyuan secret realm, she received the news and hurried back to the Luo family. She didn't even rest. After this round of battle, his entire body's essence, energy, and spirit were almost exhausted. After returning home and finishing her business, she directly lay down. When she was lying on the bed, Luo Qingtong was still thinking in a daze as if she had forgotten something. But she was so tired that her brain couldn't work at all. He fell asleep just like that. In the dimly lit room, Xianxia lay on Luo Qingtong's bed, his whole body stiff. Beside him was the girl's warm and soft body. It was exactly the same feeling as in his memory. This woman fell asleep as soon as she came back. Yi Qianren didn't even have the time to open her mouth when she saw her fall onto her body. That movement didn't even pause for a moment. He even raised his hand to support her. But this woman didn't feel anything. Looking at the face of the young girl sleeping in front of her, Yi Qianmin didn't know why, but she felt her body heating up. He looked at the girl's sweet sleepy eyes. That pair of eyes that were always evil and crafty were now tightly shut. Her nose was small and delicate, and her cherry lips were slightly pursed. She looked indescribably obedient. A strand of hair hung down from her temples and landed on the girl's lips. Yi Qianxian's eyes lit up when he saw the bright red lips under her black hair. He suddenly remembered the soft touch he felt on his lips when he was beside Luo Qingtong. He couldn't help but lean down. Just as he was getting closer and closer to Luo Qingtong, getting closer and closer to the girl's pink petal-like lips, suddenly, shwa! A pink figure instantly sprang out from Luo Qingtong's sleeve. I didn't see anything. He didn't see anything. Go on. Little Pig covered his eyes with his 2 pig hooves and dashed away at lightning speed. Oh my God. This woman didn't check if there was someone beside her when she fell down. Seeing this man secretly kiss her, I wonder if I'll be made into a roasted suckling pig. Little Pig ran away with a swoosh and disappeared in the blink of an eye. That speed had broken through the limit. I'm afraid I'll be killed by Yi Qianxian if I'm not careful. That would be such an unjust death. Yi Qianxian's face turned ashen when he saw Little Pig's departing figure. You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.